Gambit said, all right, if both of them are going through, we take the void.
Radiant
All the
team
goals like,
pick.
you know what, we'll go for the gyro
Skywrath
anyway. And I,
Mage.
ooh, okay, that is a Velior Skywrath Mage if I've ever seen one, I'd say.
Yeah, I like this pick up a lot. Lot of aggression, a lot of magic damage. You see this lineup so far, and they got good control and a good spread of physical and magical, and then they just throw in the Skywrath Mage to force the void. You know, you always want to make sure there's something forcing the void to buy a
10
BKB.
seconds
Against
remaining.
Ogre and a Sand King, he probably would anyway, but now he absolutely has to. He can't kind of take any
5
luxuries. It's
seconds
Maelstrom,
remaining.
BKB for the void, or he is not going to be able to fight even with Chronosphere, which is not how a void can play Dotes. So yeah, I like this pick up a lot. Also gives him a lot of pressure, a lot of ability to pick off this squishy crystal maiden. Of course, when she throws down that ultimate, she gets a ton of armor, but how much magic resistance does she get, Kips?
0.
Absolutely none. Making her an open shooting range for the Skywrath maiden to just blast her down with one of those big, fat, mystic flares, or force her to move at the very least. So, nice pick up from Orbit Gold. This is definitely a 4 position. So that means the Sand King is going to be in the 3, and they're yet to pick up a mid laner. They want to put the gyro at mid, which is always a bit kind of, well, they've got 10th pick, so they can definitely decide around. Even maybe put on a G Skywrath, which he has played in the past as well.
I was about to say it's not an unknown hero for him, but like I just see that hero, I see Velior, I know who's playing that basically. And it's funny that we're talking about G because he is also, of course, also known for his Queen of Pain, but that one is going to be on GPK on the other mid lane, I believe.
Yeah.
And I must say, it's a little bit of a risky pickup here. Quop is not exactly tanky, and if she gets
10
caught out in the
seconds
wrong
remaining.
position, Skywrath Mage has a very long single target silence with her name on it.
5 seconds remaining.
That's going to suck.
Oh, it does. So, from OBG, if this is indeed like they have a little bit of frontline with this Ogre Magi, but that could be a support Ogre as well. And then, well, we've spoken a bit before about why Sand King is sort of a bait for your own lineup because he is a strength hero and he does go in, but he doesn't actually like to frontline all that much. He does it a bit better if you go the Veil build, get that extra armor up, but it's still not ideal. And if you want to be able to stand the onslaught that's going to come out from this Tiny, from this Queen of Pain, and then, you know, not get beaten down by this Faceless Void later on as well, you're going to need a little bit more still, I think.
10
Little
seconds
band
remaining.
out. Gambit with one more band in the bank, and then they got to start picking up a hero. And they
5
already know
seconds remaining.
that they're going to be playing into Garath Mage, Gyrocopter. The third core, we're yet to see. A lot of potential to swap things around in Oba Gold as well. I mean, this Ogre Magi could even be a 3 position. Sankin could be a 4 if they want to do things that way, but they're kind of unlikely. But just showing that, they can pretty much pick up anything as a 10th pick. Gambit, you've got to make sure you've got all of your bases covered. Because otherwise, you're going to be in. You don't want to expose yourself to anything.
Yeah, so they still have the opportunity to, for example, pick up a Phoenix here and rock this Tiny on the offlane, which would make for a very classic combination with that Faceless Void. But maybe they're looking towards something else. You know, Skywrath Void is normally also a a classic, but of course that hero is on the other
10
side right now.
seconds remaining.
It really depends on where they want this
5
Tiny to
seconds
go
remaining.
specifically.
Dire
I
team
mean, it's a fantastic. If Holbergard wanted to take the tree a bit, absolutely fantastic. Just something different, but I don't think that's G style though.
Unlikely, yeah. He is not much of
10
a
seconds
showy
remaining.
mid player. He's extremely stable. He's a very strong laner. He
5
does have a
seconds
tendency, like
remaining.
from my time where I worked with him, to retreat into the
Choose your
jungle a
hero.
little bit too far. And oh boy,
Yeah, so he is on the gyrocopter, Illidan on the Lycan, and BZZ Sand King is all here. I had a feeling it was going to be something a little bit unusual, and the Lycan is definitely that. So, taking abuse of the fact that there's not really any wave clear on the side of Gambit Esports except for the Tiny. So, let's see. And Queen of Pain can a bit as well, I guess.
a bit, but she has short range still.
Exactly.
And as I said before, this is a very risky game to just jump in. There's a ton of disables on the other team. There's a ton of reach on the other team as well. Like both the Gyrocopter and the Skywrath Mage can throw their spells onto you from a very long distance, and they'll force GPK to get back, sure. So yeah, I really like this lineup from Old But Gold. That Lycan pickup right there, Abaddon doesn't deal well with getting pushed in. Faceless Void doesn't deal well with getting pushed in at all. Um, the Crystal Maiden is food later on, literally.
Yep. I think it's a really testament to how good of a first pick this Gyrocopter is as well. You can pick this guy up first phase, no problems at all. First pick, it doesn't matter. He can play mid, he can play safe lane, but not just that, he can play at any tempo as well. That is why the hero is so damn strong right now, because he has a ton of magic damage, a ton of physical damage. He's got the one thing he lacks in is lockdown. But you know he is just going to be a factor whatever time you want him to be in the game. You know, he's always going to be able to grab them drums or something like that and just come into the game and do work, which is all you really want from, for a lot of the case, from a first phase pick.
Mm-hmm. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how well he's got this dynamic with Illidan down, because Lycan is extremely cooldown dependent, right? You do nothing when you don't have your ult, you do everything when you do. So, I said before, G has like the urge to retreat back into the jungle a little bit, but if they manage to play that off of each other, and hopefully even on different sides of the map, the Gyro playing up when the Lycan doesn't want to do anything and the other way around, then they could... Can you stop that, please, Dream?
It really does just kind of ruin your train of thought whenever you're trying to,
trying to make a point here. The point is that if they do it wrong, they're going to end up in the same jungle at the same time, taking each other's camps and getting nothing done. If they do it right, they will have all the space on the map in the world that they want.
Yeah, you can't cross streams. Just don't do it. Now, Gold. Looking to push in a little bit here. Maybe secure themselves a couple of bounty runes. Velhor is actually... Wow. This is a very unusual Skywrath build. Not a single Mantle of Intelligence. Not one. Okay, that's interesting. Not sure how I feel about that. I really don't. Well, BZZ just going to force back FNG from the rune. There's not much FNG. He's just going to get the free right clicks in, and that's about it. And it's going to be 2 for 2 across the map. Oh, concussive shot to start things off as well. That kind of explains.
An interesting Skywrath player.
Yeah, this is very different.
Yes, you.
I don't really get it though, because like concussive shot sounds great if you have a like right click damage, but he's got none. He's got no right click damage. He's just 44 damage. It's very pitiful. So I'm not too sure what the play is here, but we'll watch Velhor just kind of laying this up anyway. It looks like he's going to try and abuse his range a little bit here. Get a lot of harass out onto FNG here as he's playing around the tower aggro and just kind of firing off a bit of damage into this. But FNG is just trading it straight back into one with BCZ inside a Sandstorm. Not much anyone can do about this. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, GPK has dropped really low to G here as they've been trading pretty aggressively with rockets and with screams. So this is probably going to be a pretty chaotic lane. I imagine this might be where we could probably see a solo kill from one onto the other, and one rotation could make all the difference. Meanwhile, at top as well, example in Shashlo on the Tiny and the Abaddon, playing off into Illidan and Vanskor as they battle it up with one another. And again, no one really seeming to deviate from this Bloodlust build. Now, I much prefer it now that Vanskor has this Orb of Venom. You know, he can Bloodlust Illidan, he can Bloodlust himself, and really be a factor in the lane. Trying to push people down. Oh, the toss back under the tower. El Clasico throwing Vanskor in, but they managed to... No, don't manage to get the blocks off, so looks like Vanskor's just about able to escape with the 3 stacks of Curse of Avernus on him.
And you gotta not discount the Bloodlust helping out with the movement speed here as well. This is a melee versus melee lane. Move speed matters so much in this.
Yeah. In fact, he probably would have died if he didn't have the Bloodlust on himself then, so saving the day in a big way. Back towards mid now, we see GPK getting a rocket thrown out at his face. He with that cannon, not actually triggering it off though, just happy with the rocket harass, and that is about it. So Yeah, I imagine this will probably be GPK's lane in a few levels. I mean, level 3 is generally when you see the spells start to matter the most. I think level 5 is what GPK will be looking for, and that's when he can put some real aggression onto the Gyro, and Gyro will probably be forced back to the jungle. Maybe not quite that severely. We'll see how it goes. Meanwhile, up at top, and Score is just taking damage from creeps. Example was looking for him, but it's down in the bottom lane as Velhor's actually managed to chase down FNG with the arcane shots and the concussive bolt. I got that the wrong way around. There you go.
First blood solo.
Yeah, Velhor's going to be a very happy man after that, getting himself boot and 440 gold to go along with it. There's a rich boy.
He is, and you can see him. He's actually looking to deny himself to the tower here, and he waited all the way until he saw FNG showing a lane, so he knew he wasn't just going to get cheekily picked off there at the tower.
Yeah,
FNG
that and
dies, gets nothing in return.
also waiting the full 30 seconds, of course, until the last instance of damage got taken. It's a really long time. You just kind of sit there, waiting. Now, Abaddon actually dropping pretty low here just to... Oh, and the wall's going to cancel his salve as well. Shashlo, that was messy from him. Gotta say, Shashlo was one of the CIS players I was looking at a lot last season. He did really good work, I believe. Was he the guy playing in Aachen alongside...
Walking in from the back. She's going to get caught.
Yep, the toss back. G in some trouble. GPK with needs a little bit more damage, but they will get it. The right clicks from Example, and GPK throws in the gap, blinking him forwards and getting the kill onto the gyrocopter. He's dead for 10 seconds, and another big win for GPK in the middle lane.
Yeah, and I do think this kill had to happen. Unlike you, I'm not very convinced of the ability of the Pop. She would have had to keep on trading regen with his Gyro in order to get the dominance in that lane at all, because as you can see up close and personal, Gyro's got all the damage advantage, and then he's going to harass from range with that flak cannon as well. It's very hard to not just get worn down by the constant spam when you are the one that has to get in close to get your spells off. And Velhor got himself a haste rune. He's got 2 points in concussive shot now.
Shashlo, oh dear. Shashlo's just going to get taken down by Vanscore.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah, I kind of watched that whole thing going like, is he okay? Is he okay? Is he okay? Looked like he was maybe looking for a suicide or something, but couldn't quite find it in the end. Meanwhile, Velhor and BZZ setting up for the bounty. Oh, FNG, he's tempted. He's really tempted. Dream's going to come in as well with the Sandstorm down. Well, there's a Sentry coming in on top of it as well. The Burrow Strike going to stun up Dream, but BZZ taking some hits. The Frostbite going to come out as well. BZZ slowed down. Dream needs one more hit. Time walk forward. Grabs a kill onto the Sand King. Meanwhile, both bounty runes getting taken up as well. And all across the board, it's going to be a 50-50. Shashlo getting one, Dream getting the other for Gambit, and Old with Gold grabbing two with Vanscore and BZZ up in the top lane.
And G was never involved in any of that. He's just supplementing his farm in the jungle right now, and it looks like the damage that he sustained during that gank right there has made sure that he actually can't stay in that anymore. And part of it is, I think, as well, that none of his supports can really come in and help him out. They're too busy over on the side lane.
Boyd's getting beaten down. He does finally have that time walk, but he doesn't manage to get any damage taken off with it. So really kind of costly for Dream there, just waiting on that cooldown. And he is being bullied a lot in this bottom lane, much more so than the Lycan, but also being able to keep up with CS as well. So yeah, despite the pressure, he's still doing very well to secure these creeps, but BZZ and Velhor now getting some decent levels up will certainly be looking to pressure the Void before Chrono as much as possible. But there's a visitor to the bottom lane.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
No. GPK, 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 GPK. Doo-doo-doo. They're waiting to see the, oh, there you go. There we go. The Skyroth Mage is found. GPK, the Shark strikes, and that's going to be a pick-off onto Velhor as he tries to
Radiant's middle tower
just live, just survive in the bottom lane, but that was a Queen of Pain there. It did look like they knew about it, to be fair. Fairly sure G was communicating that information, but you can't really play as if there's an invis quap on your lane. If you play like there's an invis quap on your lane, then you're not going to get much done. Yeah,
you're not. And you gotta play with the risk reward there. And the gyrocopter went back into that lane as soon as he realized that the quap probably wasn't there anymore. but he did make space in the jungle.
Put all the TP down bottom because that's because the Chronospheres come out. BZZ is going to get taken out by Dream and GPK as he comes right back down to the bottom lane and drags down BZZ as well. You know, Velhor, he's having flashbacks as he's going to pop down this ward and get himself back up to the high ground. And Queen of Page, she's not remotely interested. Flash doesn't see him. Now let's have a look to this top lane as we haven't for a while now. Baden is being jumped upon here, but he's got that level 6, holding off on leveling up that borrowed time for the time being. And able to hold his own pretty well in this lane, to be honest. They don't really have enough to force him off. A couple of hits coming through, but he's going to be pretty good.
Korriban is such a pain to deal with, especially if you have to get up close to him back. You're not winning the trade usually. It's a bit like with a Monkey King. You think it's going well, then the passive pops off and you realize that you're silenced, he got attack speed, and hitting him back, all you're gonna do is eventually trigger the borrowed time.
Precisely. Now Example is looking to wrap around into the jungle under the cover of the smoke, looking to repeat the success of the last game. Ergon having a really nice tiny game, and now they're closing the gap here. GPK's on top of him. He's going for the Metamorphosis here. Should be able to grab off Shapeshift, sorry. Now the Silence is out onto the Queen of Pain. They're actually looking to turn this one around, but GPK throws in the Sonic Wave. Does actually miss onto Velhor. GPK is just going to get run down by Illidan. Illidan turning attention to the Tiny. This gang has gone horribly wrong as the doggy just chases both of them down, grabbing himself an easy double kill. And now they can look towards his middle tier 1 tower as well. That was Ulbert Gold just punishing the Queen of Pain there massively. I'm not even sure what the gank attempt was there. I think they just expected him to be much more squishy than he was. I'm not even sure if they realized he had the Helm of the Dominator up. Maybe that was the difference. Example is seen in the trees here as Velhor goes to scout it out and gets tossed back into his team. And it looks like they're going to call it quits there for today. They know the Queen of Pain's going to be up soon. Even though she doesn't have that ultimate, they still have to show her the respect. Meanwhile, up on the top lane, Ogre Magi getting beaten down by Shashlo. Shashlo will close that gap and finish off the kill. So they leave him alone, and Shashlo just kills off the support, which is at least something for Gambit, I guess, but still a huge win for Ulbert Gold the last couple of minutes of gameplay.
Absolutely, and this deep vision that I was originally talking about back when the first Chronosphere went down on the bot lane, really only baiting Gambit into an unfavorable position there.
The dangly carrot of Queen of Pain 6, I guess.
Quite possibly, and right now it is Illidan who is playing up, making space for that gyrocopter to recover even more from his lane.
Ooh, a bit of a battle for the runes coming out. Burrow Strike coming through onto the Void. He does have the Chronosphere if he can get out of the stuns. Is Illidan this time walk himself back, and with the bounty no longer up for grabs, there's not much point going for this anymore for Dream. Doesn't really see the kill potential. So it's just going to be both the bounties going towards Ulbert Gold.
Yes, and the pressure is really on Ulbert Gold to do something here still, which is unfortunate for them because you're fighting into that Chronosphere. But they didn't actually come out of the lanes all too well. Sachlo is completely unmolested on that top lane. G has to run whenever he sees a co-op after that gank attempt, so they can only really push in through this bottom tower.
Yeah, and Gambit, they are pretty up for defending this one. Even though there is a bloodlusted catapult, it's not attacking the tower, it's just attacking the other catapults, so Gambit have things in a deadlock right now, which is pretty advantageous for them. They definitely kind of want to wait, reset, maybe look for an item on co-op. You know, if that first gank isn't successful, which it certainly wasn't, then you definitely want to take things back to the drawing board. Just hold off on the pressure and see if you can come out. They have all the net worths as well. They've got all the top net worths, and there's some serious pings coming out. They seem to know this was happening, and there's a scan on top of it as well, so Ulbert Gold not getting away with this one. And there's a rotation in from the Abaddon. Hero they would not want to engage upon. Still smoked out, using the doggies to try and scout something out here, and now the smoke gets popped, so he might know there's somebody in the trees here. GPK just on the other side. He doesn't realize how close he is, and Shasha's going to lead the charge. Everybody from Gambit coming on this one right now. Example trying to hold them still, trying to set up for a good Chronosphere. Velhor, though, is just going to go down without it, as is Vanscore. No Chronosphere needed. Velhor goes for the deny, but Example says no, and pirates him in the face with a big rocky fist. That is 2 heroes dead. Gambit respond perfectly to the smoke gank. I think they smoked just under this ward.
Dodge, and he actually is getting some damage in on the top tower right now, having run himself all the way over. This is not it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Chronosphere coming down. I don't think it's going to get anything done, though. Yeah, this is literally Illidan saying, like, don't worry, dude. Like, I'm going to be okay. But he's not. I'm not entirely sure. I guess... maybe Sanking
Well,
didn't want to come and fight
Satchel
that?
might pay with his life here for that, though.
Yeah, it's a bird time gone. He's going to try and juke and jive the other way, but there is no escaping. Even with the epicenter committed, that does feel a little bit like overkill, but whatever. I mean, it's not the best ultimate in the world, to be fair.
That's got a pretty short cooldown as well. And interesting to see that he's already finished up his Veil, so he had a pretty good time. He's going to be able to frontline a little bit more here. A lot of damage coming out from him if he's just sitting in a sandstorm as well.
You know who else likes the Veil?
Tell me.
Veil Whore. He's a big fan. On the Skywrath Mage, you know, yeah, it's an item you often find buying yourself, but if your teammate can buy it for you, then all the better. That's applied to everybody, not just yourself, so...
Yep. And BCC's got to be careful here. He knows that the tower trade attempt is coming in. Satchel just storming up to the tower. They don't even care about him. Look at that. Detection? What detection? We're just gonna hit your tower.
They might try for a bit of night. Oh, no. Little claws weren't quick enough. And that'll be that. Meanwhile, the mid lane, Queen of Pain, she's getting blasted down. The silence is in. The 6th out from Velhor, and that is an easy kill onto GPK. And Scott running in as well. Well, he might... I mean, there's nothing to pressure here, so maybe get some vision down or something. I'm not sure. Coming back in on mid, Example trying to make something happen here. Baden's the target right now. He's got a bird time though, so not much of a kill threat onto him just from these two heroes. I need a little bit more than that. But yeah, Gambit, this is a very weird game. It's extremely close, extremely neck and neck. I mean, the net worth advantages are in Gambit's favor. But at the same time, you know, oh my god, they're the ones with the Lycans that feels like they should be hitting the slightly earlier timing, but then I don't think they're that afraid of going late. I think we just need to focus on the Void. What are the big timings we're looking for this game, Clips?
So for the Void, he has already got his Maelstrom up, and he's going to go straight into a BKB next. I think that's the best choice. As you were saying before, in this game, with all of the extra harassing damage that can come out during these team fights, he can't actually stand there. So the damage output is mostly going to come from his Spellcaster and the Chronos. And that should help them to get like a man advantage in the fights. But I was about to say, like, is he actually going to get found here, or are Old But Gold just waiting in the wings? They have the vision up until that high ground with pretty deep ward. There's going to be a pretty big clash.
He's
for
digging
bot
for
lane
him.
here,
He's digging for him. The Silence is going to come out onto the Abaddon Veil, onto many. Oh, look at that beautiful jump into the backlines there. Crystal Maiden, though, she's able to tank up the Mystic Flare. Not dying. Now the Chrono catching out lots of heroes here. They're going to try and unload onto the Sanking. Sanking, though, still surviving. Try to get that epicenter off and just forcing back the side of Gambit as they will lose Shashlo. Old But Gold asserting themselves in the bottom lane and forcing back Gambit. They only grab one kill. And these fights, as you say, are real clenches, fighting over every bit of map space here between these two teams. I recognize how important every small victory is. And again, a small win for Old But Gold, but kind of feel like they're needing a little bit more from these fights right now. I want to see them fighting, but that was a Chronosphere drop, so maybe we'll see them pick up the tempo now that that spell is down, and they have a bit more freedom to play around the objectives.
It should definitely make them feel empowered to go ahead. You see Illidan already on the top lane. He's just waiting for the opportunity.
Bottom, they're looking for example. They're not like they're going to find it, though. Velhor and BZZ looking a bit silly as they run back the way they came.
They did give information now. Illidan has to back off from the top lane. There's 3 heroes here.
He seems super relaxed this game, which, you know, earlier we saw him, I don't know whether the Sanking decided to let him die, whether it's his call to say, yeah, just leave me, I'll be okay, or, oh, just leave me, I'm dead anyway, one of the two. Doesn't seem too worried about giving his life away, as Shashlo is going to grab himself up 1 Necro Creep? 2 Necro Creeps? Not sure about this. That's 200 gold, just Shashlo straight up. Gonna be and its hood before the next engagement for sure. Malcolm still playing in these trees, throwing out these avalanches, doing his best to try and push out this lane and just hold back Old But Gold a little bit longer, but in comes Illidan STR. Illidan Storm Rage pushing down this tower, and with his doggies it is going to be melting. Absolutely melting like a chocolate bunny in an oven. does not last very long at all, and that's a tier 2 tower going the way of Old But Gold. They're finding those objectives we were talking about. Again, moving maybe over towards the mid lane now. We'll see what they decide to go for next. The Void is going to have his Chronosphere available in 10 seconds, which means the team fight is there from Gambit. Whether they want to take it or not, though, is up to them. And the score's going to go and get some deep vision down whilst they still have this. But FNG is like, what up, dude? Thank you very much. 169 gold. LMAO.
Yeah, he's going to get them dewarded. But that said, with how far Old But Gold has been playing up into the bottom side of the map, you can see there's a lot of deep vision. It's just two.
Yeah, two lumps kind of mushing into each other there. Not really much either can do to one another. So they just kind of trade some hits, you know, test each other out, almost like a handshake between two tanky lumps, and then move about their day.
More like a fist bump, I guess.
Yeah, I accept it.
Anyway, the vision from Gambit hasn't really been paying off for them. They had this real deep vision in the triangle over where they expected the gyro to be farming, but G has really been playing up this game, and he's mostly actually been in the enemy jungle. So, a small win for FNG there, but his vision game hasn't exactly benefited his team in the past 7 minutes or so. So he could use a little bit of luck there.
Yeah, for sure. GPK in the top lane. They're searching very, very slightly for him, just up there. It's bottom where the action seems to be. Velhor's in the tree. Oh my god, just running through the Valley of Death right now. But Dashflow's here. He had an Invis rune. Now he's on top of Velhor. Velhor, he's not going to be able to get out of this one. I'm not entirely sure what he was doing down there. I mean, I know his team was with him a second ago and they just cleared out, but how did he get left behind? Oh,
honestly, I'm not sure. Maybe he was answering a message on his phone. Sitting in the tree. Hold on, guys. I gotta take this call. It's my mum.
Never let the phone ring out on your mum. It's a dick move.
And not just in bird culture.
Already, Old But Gold, they've got another smoke. They've got 4 heroes. They want to go and make some magic happen. Now.
They can go.
Now.
No.
Okay.
They don't have enough information, right?
That's true. Their map is a little bit dark immediately. They see FNG, but that's not really a hero you want to smoke into. But they say, screw it, we're going to go for it anyway. They might be going for the blind smoke into the enemy jungle, seeing if they can pick someone out on this high ground, or maybe just backing up Lycan as he goes for this push here. And yeah, they are going to get a TP, but it's Shashflo right now. Not a great target, but up on the high ground they find FNG. That's going to be a nice little French fry on the side of the big meal they want to now get, but Shashflo's running away, and the big turkey will keep himself alive. Couple of flax. Over. Swooping on the bum. Everything's going to be alright though. Well, then did pop an ultimate for this, by the way, which is about to run out, so not really within their best interest to take a fight. They take the tier 1, they will put on that reverse gear and get themselves away.
Yeah, and Old But Gold isn't going to put the pedal to the middle just quite yet, because they are waiting on that Necro 3 over on the Lycan. And if he hits that timing, which is going to be very soon, he is also going to be backed up by this Gyrocopter, who now has a full Aghanim Scepter finished. And when I'm looking at Sand King has his Blink Dagger, Velhor is finishing off his Rod of Atos pretty much as we speak. So everything's coming together for Old But Gold, and they're going to be ready to push this. Even though they're at a gold disadvantage, they have the items they need to fight. And the question is Dream going to have his BKB in time, or is he going to risk it all before that?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of teams.
But he does seem to be on schedule. Then this is going to be a rough one for Old But Gold as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of teams wait for this this BKB. We've seen a lot of teams go without it to varying degrees of success. I mean, it just seems to depend on the situation. I think he can. If he plays the fight correctly, he very much can. The Lycan's going to be in the front lines absorbing a lot of these spells and such, and I think they've just got the mobility to play and the damage threat as well. You know, you can't come out and use your spells. You know, for example, Chris Maven can't come in and frostbite the Gyrocopter in most fights because he's just going to die to a Sand King, to the Gyrocopter, to the Skywrath. They've got a lot of damage just to spread out across this fight. Old But Gold, they might be in some trouble here. BZZ and Velhor think they're being sneaky, setting up in the trees for now, but, well, they're going north and trying to look for BZZ, so they might only get one of them here. He kind of caught out a little bit here. Freezing Field even being committed. Dreams on top of him, but nice stun onto pretty much all of them here, but it doesn't get him to anywhere near safety. So they're just going to continue beating him down, and BZZ will drop.
An unfortunate death there, especially because, yeah, that Necro 3 is now out. There's a double damage on Illidan too.
Silence onto the gyrocopter. It's the awkward reveal on GPK, and the Chronosphere comes out. Initially, he doesn't walk into it, but now he is caught inside it. Of a Dream that's actually not inside his own Chrono, but it doesn't really matter. G is still going to get beaten down, and that's going to be a freebie in the bottom lane. I don't think G was ready for the Orchid, but then again, even if he did, even if he was ready for it, I don't think it would have mattered, because what can he do?
There's no way you get out of that?
No. Orchid or no Orchid, there's no way. Maybe cool down, run away, but with the Chronosphere, it was always going to be a kill. So, yeah, definitely a mistake made from G there. I don't think that's a mistake to say that.
No, I don't think so either. And these kills often catch me off guard because I'm going off of what is supposed to happen in a game, and that death there is just really not supposed to happen. And there was no pressure on the top lane for a while anymore, so there's no reason for him to stick around on the bottom lane. There's nothing to balance him out on the other side of the map. Like, even if he does...
Yeah, BZZ a little bit trigger happy there. Not quite grabbing the kill onto. I mean, it was Shashlo anyway. How long was it going to take them to kill that guy? Like, a minute. The rest of the team's going to get there and a fight's going to break out. So, all but gold though. Really asserting themselves pretty heavily here as they try and go for Roshan, and they're not trying to cover this up at all. This is just a naked Roshan attempt. They are threatening Gambit to come for this.
He might have been positioned for this Roche.
Shashlo still happy to tank up on the front lines right now. And the freezing field coming in. Gyrocopter, he's taking damage. Has to back himself out. If he had the BKB, could have stayed in this one as the Sonic Wave comes through. Takes Roshan. Shashlo grabs the Aegis as well. Oh, but Gold have absolutely nothing as Gambit are going to clean up inside this pit. Sand King should be going down. Dream gets a kill. A random rocket's going to catch out the face of this void. Shashlo will be dying for the first time, but G's going to get hunted down as well. Oh, but Gold. They give away 4 kills. They give away Roshan. They give away the Aegis. That is an absolute disaster for them.
Oh, yeah. The more I look at it, the more I think that, alright, those two on top weren't supposed to get caught out. If you don't get those 2 kills there, you can move into the Roshan pit with 4, and G is positioned forward. Presumably, he shows first, baits people to the bot lane, then you take a free Rosh with that Lycan. But instead, they have to wait just a little bit too long, and the entirety of Gambit can come in. Touchlow can just walk into the pit without any risk. He's in a bad after all. And he gets the vision for his teammates to land all of their spells.
And GPK is just going to claim a free tier 1. Why not? It was low HP. No backdoor.
Yeah, and now where before I said that, you know, all but Gold can keep up the tempo just because they're hitting their key items even though they're a little bit behind. That's not the case anymore. They got 2 of their previous attempts shut down. The momentum that was supposed to come out of the Necrobook we haven't really seen it at all. And the same, for example, for this 8 dose of the Skywrath, a lot of these items just didn't get to pay off at all because of like a couple of weird positioning mistakes. And yeah, now the Gyro is going in for the BKB. That's going to be the next one. And that's going to be one that's going to sustain them through the high ground fights as well. So, because that's where they're at right now. They are going to have to defend the high ground.
Lycan going for the Aghanim Scepter.
Mm-hmm.
And in the big builds. So they changed this slightly where now 3 wolves spawn in a lane. And they aren't worth any anymore. They're worth the same as they were when there were 2.
So what this is going to do?
This is 5 more. I can't remember. 3 wolves worth 15 each. Total 45. When previously it was 40. So it's worth slightly more, but hard to bring down. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, there's a fight breaking out as FNG and BZZ both hit the deck. But BZZ went in for the cute solo kill. Didn't epicenter for it, just had enough damage, but we'll trade our life for BZZ's there, which probably.
like it drew a couple of heroes to the top lane. It's not the worst. You get a little bit more space on both of the cores that actually matter right now for Old But Gold. And yeah, what this Agnes is going to do for the Lycan, I don't really advise buying it in two situations. Either where you are ahead and you want to enable all of the pick-off on your team to play off map even more, or if you are behind and you desperately want a passive source of wave push. And this is definitely the latter case. He's not buying this Aghanim's, he's not happy about having to buy it, let's put it that way. But it is good to have that option instead of being forced to just always be there to split push. Now, perhaps you're going to get some opportunities to force Gambit back, because it's a chore to keep track of all of these wolves, push all those waves out, when what you really want to be doing is smoking and killing. And are they getting eyes on G here? He popped the smoke, but he's too fast.
And on to FNG meanwhile, as Vanskor trying to make a run for it right now. Down at bottom, Velhor seen in the trees as well. Old But Gold seemingly getting hunted right now, but the TP's coming, and it does get off. Oof. Still sweaty here. Meanwhile, Vanskor, he is finally going to be beaten down. Shashlo's found him in the tree line. He's got a Solar Caress, so a bit of damage output coming out from him, and finishes the job with a Mistcoil.
Once again, very valuable distraction for Old But Gold, and you can see that gold lead that was at 10k, it's actually creeping back a little bit, just because they're forcing Gambit to react. And that's going to be the goal for this Aghanim set as well. Create opportunities where...
This isn't quite as value though, Sanking in the top lane, getting eaten up by GPK and Example. Velhor looking at FNG here, thinking, I could probably get that kill. Would I die in response? Almost definitely. In mind.
I want to ask, by the way, why are you calling him Example? Like, I see Vampire right there.
Vampire? Yeah, XS Vampire. I don't know, I thought it was like X-Vamp...
I mean, I can see that. I was more like, oh, maybe you know something that I don't. Maybe that was his previous
Oh, I know
name.
nothing. Never assume I know anything. That's a risky move.
I like to think the best of people, you know?
See, I can see Vampire. I've been calling an example. Maybe we need to find out. Is there any way you can get in contact with someone from Gambit and ask for me?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, let us know if it's Vampire or Example, because I guess Vampire makes a little bit more sense. XS Vampire.
He's an extra tiny, extra small Vampire. Satchlo's just walking up to Vanskor again.
Hatching out on the TP. Yeah, there are just so many little skirmishes going on across the map right now. Everyone's split up. No one is team fighting. This is very unusual for 30 minutes into the games. But both teams just trying to spacing out the map a lot, trying to farm up, looking for the next timing, and nobody really committing because they're all just waiting for Roshan, I think.
I think so too. And also, Gambit were positioned up, but because of several attempts by Vampire to actually make something happen in that offlane triangle, they left FNG exposed on the top lane, and with the Crystal Maiden gone, she is still a big source of teamfight damage, so they'd rather not risk anything. They're pulling ahead again. Most of the fights are now on the side of all the gold once more, which means that the gold advantage is creeping up in Gambit's favor once again. And they're cool with sitting here.
30 minutes in, and Vampire Rage is pushing hard on the middle lane here. Going to be a catapult on the high ground, forcing somebody back. He also being hunted a little bit. Gambit though, very much in the driving. We'll see if there is a fight possible for Roshan. This Lycan Axe is being super annoying at just getting these lanes pushed out a bit, and now Illidan actually having to pop the ultimate as the Queen of Pain getting jump spotted here. She might not lose her life though. She gets that Yules and Blink away. GPK will survive. Now, meanwhile, the Chrono comes down. They manage to catch out the Lycan. Do they have the damage in time? Yeah, with the bashes coming through, they certainly do. The Avalanche helping out as well. The Lycan gets dropped by the Chronosphere. All but Gold lose one, and they don't get that precious kill onto GPK either. He gets himself away with the Yules and the BKB.
That was very close. Really, Old But Gold here, keeping Gambit on their toes. If that assassination attempt works, they're going to have themselves a very good forward position to actually grab the tower over there as well. And at the very least, it's a shame that they lose the Lycan for it. Because if they don't... Oh, BCC.
Yeah, Sanking getting a little bit carried away here, maybe. As he's,
Next assassination, Faceless Void.
Oh, that could be pretty good. Velhor is actually the target, and he has taken so much damage. Man, Dream is not relaxed right now. He's got their Satanic as well. Gee, he's got to get away from this Void. Yeah, he's just all by himself here. In comes Shashlo helping out the Void. Vanscore's thinking, well, maybe we can turn this into a kill, but it looks like he's just going to be killed off himself here. With Dream just killing everybody, and now on the high ground, he's going to start taking down this tier 3 tower. It is dropping so quickly as well. With the Abaddon, with that curse, the pushing power is immense. Gambit is eating through the buildings. Vampire looking for a toss back. Oh dear. Melee barracks now claimed by Gambit, and just like that, they turn a kill possibility onto a gyro into 2 support kills, and now looking at the high ground, the Vanscore has brought back into this one, and they're just going to wait 10 seconds for the Skyrath to respawn, but have they even got time for that? They might be losing 2 melee racks within that time, 4 seconds, and it is going down so quick. Jumping in onto the Yoga Magi here, throwing him out of position. He force-staffs him forwards, then tosses him in, and Vanscore, that's going to be a very quick dieback from him as GS popped his BKB on the front lines, but Dream is just not scared of him whatsoever. Here comes the Epicenter onto the back lines, trying to just do something in this fight, but they turn around, beat down the Sand King. Sand King is dead. Void jumping forwards onto Velhor. Velhor keeping his distance, though. He's also got a Ghost Scepter if he needs to play with that. Oh, playing with death. Here is the force stop in. Toss up. Velhor getting awfully low. He has got the Mystic Flare. Going to throw it down onto Tiny, but Tiny force staff the wedge. Should be able to get out of this one. There's a rocket chasing him. Won't be enough to finish him off, though, especially with the Mist Core coming in to heal him up as well. BZZ wants to get back into his fountain, but the Chronosphere is there, and they will fountain farm up the Gyrocopter as well inside his base. Taken down, forcing out the GG, basically pinning Old But Gold to the floor and forcing the words out their very mouths. Gambit now moving on to the tier 4s, and there's your GG coming down. Old But Gold will be taken out in game number 1 as Gambit just flick a switch, apply the aggression, and Old But Gold do not have anything to answer them with.
Yeah, this was a very fragile game for Old But Gold. From the very moment that Gyrocopter got ganked in the mid lane, he couldn't stay in that lane anymore, had to move back into the jungle, and you could see that the dynamic of their map movement got hindered by that. They did a good job at getting it back. I saw a couple of really nice assassinations from Velhor as well. I always like to see that guy move around, but in the end, the ease of execution is not on their side. And they get into these points where they hit these item timings, but they only have this very brief window to actually make something happen with it. And they don't get that opportunity. So Gambit don't give them any chances to get back into this game and finish it off in style.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, I feel like it's easy to criticize the Lycan pick, and it didn't really do anything really in the long run. I think partly it's because, you know, look at his KDA 223. This guy was not really playing very high aggression Dota. He was very, very relaxed in his gameplay, just farming up, looking for that Aghanim Scepter, a decent timing on that, but it really didn't change the game in any way, shape, or form. A couple of wolves coming down the lanes, like, yeah, you know, it kind of feels like you got super creeped in a couple of your lanes, but when you're throwing down 4,200 gold for that item, I don't know. I'm still not sure on it. I think in some games it can be effective, especially if you don't have the wave clear, which Gambit certainly didn't. But in the end, it just felt like you had a Lycan who didn't have any items. You had a Gyrocopter who was extremely underwhelming. And Gold didn't really have anything to bring to the fights. You know, Velhor was their only option. He got hunted all game by this Tiny. He's just absolute squish. And Gold really didn't have anything to bring to the fights. I think Roshan was a big turnaround, right? You know, after that big Roshan fight where they managed to nearly took Roshan, then Scream comes through, Sonic Wave takes down Roche, Shashlo picks up the Aegis, and then what? What do you do from that? You've lost the entire objective of the game, which you planned on playing around. They were waiting for it. They were trying to wait for the next Roshan, but Gambit just kept on getting more and more money. They farm better, they fight better, they win. And that's pretty much the end of game 1.
Yeah, I gotta say that I still think I like the Lycan. I still know what they were going for,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they might have actually underestimated the impact of this Abaddon on the top lane as well. And it was rough for the Gyro and the Lycan to be in the same lineup in the end because of that. Neither of them getting any tempo to start with, and then it's all on BZZ, who does an admirable job, but you know they don't quite get the ball rolling.
Nope, they do not. And yeah, that's going to put the series at 1-0 going to Gambit. Can they take it in a 2-0, or Alba Gold able to level things out? They certainly can, but we'll have to see what they pull out in the next draft. Gambit vs Alba Gold, game number 2 coming up shortly here on BTS4.